Welcome back, everyone, to the New York State Youth Leadership Council's YouTube channel. We will be continuing the Chat It Up series. Unfortunately, Anna won't be able to join us today, but I can be your host for today, and I'm very excited to be here. And I have two special guests today.
My name is Shayna. My pronouns are she, her, hers. My school is NYU. I am currently a senior. And my major, so I am attending the Individualized Studies school at NYU, so I'm creating my major. It's basically a combination of film production, performing arts, anthropology, and business.
Everyone, my name is Paula. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a freshman at Lawrence University. I haven't declared a major officially yet, but I'm interested in anthropology or ethnic studies.
So throughout the video, we will be doing our makeup and just talking about like our experiences. I know that Shayna, that you are a transfer student at NYU. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I wasn't able to like get all my paperwork and stuff to Baruch on time, so I ended up going to BMCC. My first semester, I don't know what I thought like college was, but I thought you could just do your 4 years and then you pay at the end. And I did my first semester towards finals week. They were like, girl, you gotta pay us. I knew I was like undocumented, but I didn't know. Basically, I had to take a year off, figure my life out, and work like 3 jobs so I could pay off my first semester. And then I was able to come back to BMCC through the Dream.US scholarship. I got an email about this transfer program to NYU. I ended up applying and I ended up getting into the program.
Paola, I know that you attend Lawrence and that's out of state. Do you want to like just talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, I attend Lawrence University in Wisconsin, which is a very big jump from New York City. I wouldn't have been able to afford this school if it weren't for the scholarship that I got, which is Posse. It was very scary to move from somewhere where I've been my entire life. Scholarship that I got was like an entire process. Like if you're familiar with Posse, like it's like pretty intense. The first interview was like 100 people. Like you really gotta like stand out. And then like the second one is a one-on-one. And that's really intense because like they go through your transcript and you have to advocate for yourself. And I wasn't really used to that. Like I wasn't used to like having to explain myself or my grades.
I definitely relate to both of y'all experiences. When I was in senior year, that's when President Trump had rescinded DACA. And I remember I was in the middle of Posse. When I was doing Posse, most of my schools were out of state. Like that was really scary for me because I have never been away from home. Like my family and I are very close. When President Trump like took DACA away, like I dropped out like instantly. Like I dropped out of the race, like no hesitation.
I didn't start looking for any colleges until I got to like October, and I was like, maybe I should start looking for schools now. I didn't even know where to begin. I was just very lost. But yeah, like everything happens for a reason. I feel like being here in Wisconsin, in the middle of nowhere, literally, it was a reason because I ended up like really liking it here. I had like a little bit of separation anxiety when it came to leaving my family. They took it harder than I did. I missed them, of course, but I'm also happy. And I feel like for my mental health, it was worth it.
I attend Barnard College. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm studying sociology and education. But I definitely knew I wanted to attend a private school. I just didn't really know which one. As I was researching Columbia, I actually found out about Barnard. And so I ended up applying to both, and then I ended up attending Barnard. Barnard gives out a scholarship that is for undocumented folks only. So they cover basically everything, like tuition, room and board, books, everything. So I'm fortunate enough where I don't have to pay basically anything to my school, and they really do help support me financially. And when I got my acceptance, like the first thing that came into my head was like, how am I gonna pay for this?
Even throughout the process, when you start looking at the prices, even after financial aid, and we don't get FAFSA, so like I was like scrambling for scholarships, and on top of that, like applying to college is very, very time consuming.
I'm very fortunate enough to get like financial aid to cover basically everything at my college, because if not, there is no way I would be able to afford it. Ironically, once I got all my financial aids from all my colleges, it was actually cheaper for me to go to Barnard, like a private school, than it was to attend Hunter, which was a CUNY, because Hunter was not giving me any money. Definitely like that misconception, especially for like undocumented folks, where we are kind of hesitant to apply to private institutions.
I can relate to both of y'all because if it wasn't for my scholarship, there's no way I would be here right now. For me, I was lucky enough to get this scholarship. It's basically like a full ride. They cover my tuition, they also cover housing, and they cover meal plans. So I went from like struggling to pay rent and like struggling to, even buy like a Metro card, to being blessed and having this scholarship. It's the Guide Scholarship. So it's basically like a pipeline program with BMCC and NYU.
When it comes to applying to scholarship, you have to prove your value to a bunch of people that you don't know. And that's super overwhelming. And it made me feel like my worth was based on how well I did in school. And I feel like a lot of scholarships want you to write a sob story about your trauma and everything you've been through. It can be very damaging to your mental health, I think. The cards are stacked against us at a base level. I feel like I had to work twice as hard to get to the same place other people were already at. Something that really gave me a safe space to ask all the questions I had about going to a private university is the Undocu Senior Academy at the YLC. And that's an academy where undocumented senior students go, and there's so much support there. There's so many resources that are already there, and it's a program. They gave me food, the Metro card, support, and it was a community of people who were going through the same thing as me, and we were all able to just talk about it, ask questions that like we wouldn't be able to ask our counselors. And I think that was super helpful for me because I didn't realize that there was a community of people who were going through the same thing as me and who were open about it and willing to talk about it with me.
I feel like for me, it wasn't until I came back to do my second semester at BMCC that I really found the community, or that I really began to learn about support and how to navigate college. Because I went to high school in Virginia. No one really talked about, their status, or like it wasn't really like a conversation. Like my counselor in high school didn't even know what DACA was. So I really had to like figure it out on my own. Also, when I found out about YLC, and that, really helped a lot to try to navigate, how to move through college as an undocumented person.
So I know that the transition from high school to college is very like difficult within itself already, but I feel like being undocumented kind of adds like a extra layer. When doesn't it, honestly?
My first year here, it took a lot on my mental health because I was, in a new place. I had no friends here. It was very like hard because I had to like start all over from scratch. I just feel like it's a big difference, going to like a community college and then transferring to like a private four-year institution. I definitely went through some like imposter syndrome my first semester here because I was like, yo, did I make the right choice to come here?
Heavy on the imposter syndrome, especially with the scholarship. I was just like, do I belong here? Like, did they make the right choice in picking me? Because I don't feel like I belong here. Everybody's different than me. I'm the only person in my class who's a person of color. I have learned that like, just because I'm not busy every single second of the day does not mean that I'm being unproductive. Taking care of myself is a task that I have to do every day, and that takes up time, and it's important.
Kind of like what Shayna was saying, the imposter syndrome really like it kicked in real quick. As soon as I stepped foot in campus, it was like, hello, it's here. Specifically, like in class, I don't know how y'all have been. I felt like they were talking with such big words. Like these kids,
oh my God.
they like articulate such big fancy words, and I'm like, and that would honestly make me feel bad. Like I honestly felt like so lost, and I'm like, are we taking like the same class? Like, what are you talking about?
Also, like, I feel like the people here are different. Like, they come from a different world. It's like I remember I was trying to make friends. I like actually was trying to make like friends last like my first semester. And I remember just sitting there and they were talking about like their winter break and how they were gonna go to like Bora Bora and shit. And I was like, I'm gonna be working so I could pay, you know, my bills. They have fun in Bora Bora. Like it's like I can't relate to people here.
Getting to the school was very difficult. Picking a method of transportation, if anybody is like, anybody watching this gonna go to like a far distance school and being undocumented, having those conversations can be really scary because it puts you into perspective. Like for me, it felt like they didn't want me there. Like there were so many obstacles holding me back, and I was just like, I'm just trying to get to the school. Like I just want to like get there. Private universities have money. Like they have bank. Like there are funds for a lot of things, and it just takes a lot of asking people, a lot of connections to like get to that.
If you could go back and give a piece of advice to your younger self, like what would it be?
I would just say like keep going and don't limit yourself and feel like everything through, because I feel like I tried to like avoid a lot of like my feelings and like emotions.
I would tell my younger self that I'm not any less capable of doing something just because I have to ask for help. Because asking for help for me was so difficult. I would just tell myself like, sis, it's okay. We know you're smart, like you got it, but like you can also ask for help, and that's not gonna make you any less capable of doing it.
If I could go back, I would probably tell myself to put priority over your mental health, and that being okay mentally really does wonders.
And I feel like it's also important for students today. It's like to be unapologetically you, especially in these spaces. You know, what you have to bring to the table is enough.
Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed it.